Hello, my yarny friends. I'm Sara Satch. Welcome or welcome back to another edition of this or that, and sometimes the other thing. Well, last week we first talked about health, and we talked about, does crochet heal us? And actually, I loved reading all of your comments. You all were so brave in putting yourselves out there and talking about some of your issues with mental health and ADHD and things like that. And crochet and art is very healing for us mentally. And I also told a little bit about my story. And so if you want to learn about that, that's in last week's This and That video. This week, I want to talk about physical health. And no, crochet does not heal us actually physically, but there are some things that we can do to keep ourselves healthy, because crochet can be really hard on our bodies. It can be hard on our hands, our wrists, our necks, and our shoulders. And I'm going to show you 5 different hand techniques that you can do, and then talk a little bit about shoulders and neck and some things that you can do to keep yourself healthy so we can continue to do the things that we love, which is crochet and, of course, arts in general. Okay, and so we're going to talk about that today. Now, remember, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a psychologist or a psychiatrist. I'm just an old 61-year-old grandma. Wait, I'm 62. Grandma that has learned some things along the way of how to help me stay healthy. All right, because I love crochet, I love yarn, and I love art, and we want to stay healthy and continue to be able to do what we love. Now, if there are some things that you have learned along the way, feel free to comment down underneath this video, because again, I always say I can learn from you and we can all learn from each other. All right, so the first thing we're going to talk about is 5 different hand techniques or exercises that can help you if your hands get tired, if your arms get tired. And like me, I have arthritis in my thumbs, probably because I hold everything way too tightly. So don't hold things so tightly. All right, so let's move right along and get started. So the number one thing that I do when my hands get a little bit tired or achy is what I call finger curls. Now, I've given these 5 techniques names. I don't know if that's their official name. I did a similar video to this about 7 years ago, and I've had a lot of questions about it, so I thought I'd just bring it back and talk about it again. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is finger curls. And what I do is you hold your hand up and you curl your fingers down, make sure your thumb's on the outside, and just give it a squeeze. And you hold it for like 6 to 8 seconds. And when you do that, you'll feel this part right here in your muscle. You'll even feel it down here in this muscle. And I always do a couple like this, and then I'll go 1 banana, 2 banana, 3 banana, 4, 5 banana, 6 banana, 7 bananas more, and then I let go. All right, and then we'll do the other hand. Put your fingers together, curl them down, put your thumb on the outside. I'll do a few of them like that. Sometimes I do this when I'm driving. I know I shouldn't take my hand off the wheel, but I do. All right, so let's do that again. 1 banana, 2 banana, 3 banana, 4, and you're gently squeezing. You can feel that muscle right in there tighten up, and this one right here. Let's see, 1 banana, 2 banana, 3 banana, 4, 5 banana, 6 banana, 7 banana more. I can't count, okay? But I would do, and you can do them both at the same time. Don't do this at the same time while you're driving, though. This really will help you. And you can also stretch your fingers out and then roll them down. Make sure your thumb comes on the outside, though. You don't want to squish that thumb in there, okay? And that's the first one. I call this finger curls, and hold it for those 8 seconds. Now, the second thing that I do, number 2, I call fist curls. So we've already know how to close our hand up and keep our thumb out on the outside. But this is going to help our wrist. And we're just going to sort of gently tilt back. And you should feel that all the way up to this muscle up here. And then curl it down. And you're just going to do this nice and slow. And again, do both your hands, whether you're right-handed or left-handed, nice and slow. And when you push this one back, you're going to feel it out here. And then when you push it forward, you'll feel it out here again, and you'll see your muscle. The one that I didn't realize this is when you push your wrist back, you can feel it up in here. You can do them both together. Make sure that you use that same finger curl method and with your thumbs on the outside, tilt forward, tilt back. And you can tilt it forward for 8 seconds if you want to and tilt it back. It's up to you, but don't do it fast. Do it nice and slow. Just like that. That's the fist curl. Now, number 3 I call thumb stretches. Like I said, I just gave these names 7 years ago, and we're just going with those names. But what you're going to do is you're going to make L's with your finger and your thumb. Put your thumb together and your finger, and you're going to, don't push hard. This is a gentle stretch. And you're just going to stretch, put a little bit of pressure, and count to 8. 1 banana, 2 banana, 3 banana, 4, 5 banana, 6 banana, 7 banana, more. And that may not be exactly 8 seconds, but it'll give you enough for the pressure. And then you just lift off, and you can do it again. And you don't have to hold it for a full 8 seconds, but you might want to work up to that. And you'll feel this in your hand. You'll feel it a little bit in your wrist, but mostly your finger and your thumb. And you want the majority of the pressure to be on your thumb because you're trying to loosen up that joint around your thumb. And also, my joint right here is where it hurts, that first joint. And that's where mine hurts. And that's where I try to concentrate the most on that muscle or on that joint. It's not a muscle, it's a joint. Okay? All right, number 4 is what I call finger stretches. You're going to put the thumb and finger together, but you're also going to put these fingers together. All right, like this. I used to call it the octopus stretch, but people thought that was silly, so we just call it finger stretches, okay? And you're going to gently put pressure on it. Now, when you do this, you should feel this in all your muscles in your arms, all the way up to your shoulders, okay? And I like to try to hold this about face level and just put pressure on it and then release. And again, 6 to 8 seconds. 1 banana, 2 banana, 3 banana, 4, 5 banana, 6 banana, 7 banana, more. And then just relax. And what I try to do is do about between 5, 6, 8 repetitions. And I'll give you a little hint. When I'm watching like a movie like on the Hallmark Channel or on Netflix or something, and some of them we have are the free ones where you still have commercials. And during the commercials, I'll take a break from crocheting and I'll do these exercises during the commercials. You know, loosen up my thumb, loosen up my fingers, loosening up my wrists, all of that during the commercials. And then when the movie comes back on, I'm ready to crochet away. All right, number 5 is called, I think they call it the hand tilt. I call it the princess wave. Because if you've ever seen Miss America or you know, like we have the Czech princess because we have a lot of Czech influence over here in Yukon. And they pick a princess and she's up on the float and her arm is still, but her wrists are moving like this. And she's waving. And they do that because that way you're not moving your arm here, just in case your arm muscle isn't all that beautiful. And so what you're going to do is you're just going to try to hold your arm still and only turn your hand. And you'd be amazed the muscles that you use when you do that. Now, you don't want your hand to be all tight. You want to just relax your hand and just turn your wrist. If you have issues with your wrist, this will help. Okay, and you just, you know, do this about 8 or 10 times. Do the other one. Make sure your elbow's up high. And again, you might want to put it about at your face level. And then just turn. If you cannot hold your arm up, hold it with your other hand. And make sure you're not turning this, because I do that sometimes. I'm like, oops, I'm not supposed to do that. You want to try to just turn. Now, you're going to see my muscle is moving, but you just want to turn your hand. And you want to relax that hand and turn. And if you're strong enough and you can hold your arms up, you can, of course, do both. And this will strengthen your wrist and this part of your arm. Although you'll probably feel it all the way up to those elbow muscles also. And like I say, begin with between 5 and 8 reps of each one. You don't have to sit there and do 50 of them. These are just things to help your hands and your arms feel better if you have arthritis like me. And remember, I'm not a doctor. These are just things that helped me. And I've been doing these for over 7 years, and it does help me. Now, I do have some weights. They're 3 pounds. And I do use these to strengthen my arms. I do little bitty things like this. I'll do small curls like this. I'll lift them above like this. I don't do major weights. I don't do anything like that. At my age, actually ladies at any age, unless you're a bodybuilder, you don't need to use great big weights. You can even get a 1 pound weight. And when I first started doing this, I used Campbell's soup cans. And you can also use bottled water that are 16 ounces because they weigh about a pound. And that works great too. It's just something to help build your muscles just a little bit. You can do like this. You can lift just a little. And this. And you can also do wrist curls when you get strong enough. And that's something that you can work up to. And this helps me a lot. When I walk with Rosie, I put her leash on my arm and I make a big loop on my elbow. And as I'm walking, I go like this and like this, you know, around and stuff like that. Although as she's gotten a little older, she doesn't want to walk with me. So I have to walk around the yard and do this. My neighbors probably think I'm silly, but it's okay. I'm just trying to stay healthy. And so small weights work great. And like I said, you don't have to go out and buy weights. Get you 2 Campbell's soup cans that are the same. And I like Campbell's soup cans because the cans are a little bit smaller than a big can of peas or something. And so you can hold those and you can build your muscles. And water bottles are great. Gatorade bottles have a little bit of a center to them that kind of goes in, and you can hold on to those bottles. And you can even just use your old Gatorade bottles and fill them with water, or soda bottles. Maybe your kids are into, drinking a lot of bottled soda. Save 2 of their bottled that they left over, fill them with water, and use those. Lots of great ways to get healthy if you don't have any weights. All right. Now, I do want to show you a couple of things that I do with my neck and my shoulders. One of the things that I do is when I'm crocheting, if I get a little bit stiff, I just tilt my head back and forward because we're constantly looking down to work, okay? And we're crocheting, we're looking down, but when the commercial comes, do some of these neck things. I'm going to tell you what my chiropractor told me, and that is never roll your neck, where you go like this and roll your neck around. Never do that. You tilt back and forth, and then side to side. And you do this gently and slowly and carefully. Okay? And that's going to loosen up your neck. And another thing you can do is just lift up those shoulders, hold it for a few seconds, and set them down. Lift up those shoulders. Of course, I'm sitting kind of crooked here. And set them down. That will help loosen you up. Okay? Now, one last thing before I let you go is this is a great thing to pick up. And the reason it's just a plastic table. I picked this up at Michael's. I think it was $7, maybe $7.99. And the reason this is a great idea is because you can put this on your lap. It has an edge, so your things aren't going to roll off. You can put crochet hooks and yarn in the sides. But what this does is it brings your crochet up closer. Okay, but you don't have to go get one of these. I love mine. I use it a lot, but you don't have to do that. You can also just use a pillow and put that in your lap and bring your crochet up closer so that your arms aren't drooping and making your shoulders droop and your neck droop. Bring that crochet up closer on a pillow. You can roll up a towel, roll up a blanket, anything. Put it on your lap if you're sitting and working in a chair, on the couch or something, and you want to bring that crochet up closer, because even if all you're doing is writing or working a crossword puzzle, bringing your work up closer relieves the stress on your neck and your back. And that's another thing I learned from my chiropractor. Okay. We want to stay healthy and we want to do our crochet and our crafts as much as possible, but we can't if we hurt. Okay, and so these are just some things that I've learned through the years, what to do to help me stay healthy so I can do the thing that I love. And again, if there are techniques and things that you do that help you, comment, let us know, because again, we can learn from each other. And I've learned along the way things that work for me, and I'm sharing those with you. Well, I would love to learn what works for you, because again, we want to stay healthy. We really do. And these techniques are great for any types of crafts. If you do beading or cross stitch or painting, because I still love to paint. I still love to do beading. I can't do the tiny beads anymore with the tiny needles, but that's okay. A lot of people do the diamond painting and you're bent over and it's absolutely beautiful. But these exercises will work for you as well. Any kind of arts and crafts that you're doing, these simple exercises, I just know will help you feel better and love doing your craft. I don't want you to dread sitting down to crochet because you know your shoulders are going to hurt, or you know your neck is going to get stiff, or your thumbs hurt, because I do have trouble with my thumbs, and it can be a little frustrating when I want to do my crafts. So I hope you'll try some of these and let me know if you try them and they work. Like I say, comment, because we can learn from each other. And let's stay healthy, okay? Let's stay healthy and do what we love. Well, thanks for being with me today, and I hope you've learned something along the way. And I so much appreciate you watching my videos. It means the world to me. I love my crochet community. You guys are the best. One of these days, I'm going to get this heart right. All right. Well, I'll see you next time for another edition of this or that or the other thing.